All right, welcome everyone that is here and those who are and will watch on YouTube. Next time, please be here. This is being live streamed as I speak. My name is Christian Kidd, and this is My Place Cafe. Um, this black-owned, woman-owned coffee shop and restaurant is located within Hes Square, 2057 North Los Robles Avenue, Suite 10 in Pasadena, California, at the corner of Woodbury and Los Robles. My Place Cafe is open every day from 7:30 to 1:30 p.m. And today we have a very special poetry event to bring to you guys. This year, Mr. Jesse Tovar and Miss Latanya Smith, the owner, have had poetry events that typically take the place a little later than we would refer to as poetry night. But it's 4 p.m. and it's 5 o'clock somewhere, which is why I'm drinking. But today we have a very special poet for all of you. Jesse, our typical host, but I'm not Jesse. You guys know what Jesse looks like, and I'm not him. But Jesse met Syd Leilani a few months ago at Verse Come, Verse Serve, a poetry event that I have read at. And after reading Leilani's poetry, she is definitely one of the best poets to read there. That show is a student-run Woodbury University production advised by Mr. Mike Sonskin. During Woodbury's spring term, Mr. Joshua Jones and Aspen Levitt were the hosts, and Joshua has graduated, so I guess hooray. Earlier this month, Syd released Scribbled, which is one of my new favorite books of poetry. Excellent stuff. She even had a release party that looks really good on Instagram, even though I don't have Instagram, but Jesse does, so that's why that was in the script. I wish I had Instagram so that I could watch her release party. The book's layout and drawings are all really good. It reminded Mr. Tovar of America by the great Franz Kafka. One of my favorite poems was Ouch, if you don't mind me reading it. It says, a long-awaited day at work, stress and anxiousness to hurry home. Smiles and conversations began, and leaving my butt smack in the end. I really, really love that poem, and I had to ask the writer permission to read it because it was so good. I really enjoyed it. But I'm not going to hog up much more of your time. I promise. It also recalls to mind Nicole Fenton's Nicely Said and Kate Kiefer Lee. One rhetorician that Jesse knows describes scribbles in between pages representation of messy writing process. But I think it's a level of ingenuity and creativity we're not used to seeing. It doesn't matter what she says because she gave Jesse an F one time.
Yes, she did.
Anyway, I, as the reader, love how we have to read from right to left in poems like Circle of Thought and Impatiently Waiting. I love the sensation of the pools one feels from riding a roller coaster. These poems made me also think of pics I've seen on Instagram, even though I don't have Instagram, from Six Flags since they reopened. It also reminded me of also the poem Yummy Land made me think of a Cardigans song. Even though the Cardigans aren't around anymore. But I encourage everyone to purchase this and take it to heart because it's great poetry, really great stuff. With that said, Latanya Smith, Jesse Tovar, and me, Christian Kidd, are proud and happy to welcome Ms. Syd Leilani to the stage. Syd Leilani, everybody. Oh, that's my phone.
I want to first and foremost thank everyone that came, to those who are on live, to those who are here sitting in the chairs. Thank you guys for all coming. It truly means the world. To the beautiful faces I met today, to those who I met yesterday and beyond, hi, my name is Syd Leilani, and I'm a spoken word artist, poet, author, podcaster, and entrepreneur. Throughout my adolescent years, my passion for writing grew. I started off singing and writing at a young age, songs to my family, and realized then that I have a strong desire for writing. As time progressed, I wrote short stories mainly based off of me and my older brother's conversations. I was 6 at the time, he was maybe 12, and me and him would just argue day to day. And off of these conversations, I would be upset. It would be, hi, big brother, like, how's your day going? He'll say, leave me alone. So I started writing these short stories based off of these arguments. And I went to my grandmother's house, printed these stories out, created the cover pic off of just a photo I had, and started passing it out to the family. And as I passed it out, I would obviously see people laugh, but I seen that enjoyment. I saw that people, took a consideration into my writing. At a young age, I was driven. When I was 16, I went through a hard time in life. I felt like I lost friends, family, I lost myself, I felt alone. I leaned towards my writing and wrote Marathon, my first book. Marathon again dives into a journey in my life where I lost my voice. As I'm writing these poems, I'm trying to find this sense of how can I get out there? How can I start speaking again? Because I felt silence for a long time. So as I'm writing these poems, and if you guys read Marathon, I'm going to read through it today too. You guys are going to just see a cry for me to just come out vocally. I published it a year later, and I appreciate every bump in the road, everyone who bought the book, and all those who were on the journey then. It built who I was, who I am today. With all the lessons learned and journey, I questioned, you know, if I wanted to continue writing. I questioned, why am I writing? What's the passion? Where am I going to go with this? Scribble came out a few weeks ago. My second book um, dives into a journey with oneself, exploring life fast and emotionally. One starts to find themselves in situations regularly and is affected by each one. So today I want to take you on a journey exploring two different pathways, passion and affliction. Those pathways are the two chapters in Scribble, but I feel like they reflect both on Marathon and Scribble. As I share these poems, some of my favorite poems in Scribble and Marathon, I hope that each one resonates and gives you a new perspective in life. So as I start off, I'm going to read the first little poem in Scribble. It's a reminder to the readers, but today you guys, are here, so I'm going to remind you guys. Scribble your heartbeat along the ocean floor. Each grain of sand connects the amount of emotion behind your story, patiently waiting for the waves to crash in the telling of your journey. So as Scribble begins, it starts off with the first chapter, Passion. The first poem goes into a moment that I feel like everyone can relate to. It's a moment where we're falling in love. We're getting those butterflies. We are questioning on if the significant other you'll potentially have, could this be the one? Could this be the thing you want to journey off into? Is this the boy or girl you want to experience life with? Can you potentially fall in love with this person? I could potentially allow the wind to sweep me off my feet. As long as the dust of love doesn't plant its deceit anywhere in my mind, because I'll be a bittersweet war I have with my heart, and man, I'll be left in such a defeat. I slowly built this bloody red brick wall after numerous times the trust miscalled and the honesty of the relationship was never installed. Patching these bricks with long feared, awful tears, hoping they wouldn't fall, assuming that the emotion would be blocked off for it all. But I see it potentially happening. Does the dust of love have a meaning? During the blissful autumn season, when the trees decide to switch up the game without a reason and allow the dust of love to sweep people off their feet like a demon, a tornado of hormones begin to bundle up, leaving my heart screaming. I understand my heart wants to explore, but what's the dream in it all? My heart wants the air to be crisp, so I can steal the guy's jacket on a cold night. It wants the dust of love to smash our hands together in the light. It begs the wind to spell our names in aroma bright, enough so it can be heard, but my mind looks at the awful hormones in spite. I'm constantly at war with my mind because I'm afraid of falling in love blind. It's like going to Subway and ordering that dream sandwich combined, but then they screw up and you're left there with this piece of shit undivine. I want to be in love. My heart wants to flutter with the butterflies above, yet the way the universe is acting like it's something I should have avoided and protected my heart with a glove, because love is something I cannot love. I could potentially allow the wind to sweep me off my feet, but I know what that comes with such a treat. The insecurity in my mind on who he's messing with in the streets, being jealous and envious on repeat. Is this what the dust of love does to people in heat? All of these problems are dwelled up from the past. It's not something I asked for, it's simply how society portrayed me, and I think they should recast. Guy after guy simply wanting the same thing fast. Should I give it up or potentially fall in love at last? Thank you. Thank you. So the second poem I wanted to read today, it was in this moment where all my writing was appearing the same in my head. I'm my hardest critic. So I'm sitting here and reflecting, like, how can I do something different? And I thought, let's create themes, let's create different subjects that I can base all of these topics off of. So I created this theme called The Game of Love. So this poem is based off of the game. I'm your Monopoly. Around and around I go, and with one roll of a dice will decide how fast will show. This exhilarating feeling, tiresome, no, turn me off and the world will know. Manipulation at its finest, my heart is shaky if I'm honest. The two surrounding me will one day be pounding me. I hate to say it, but I'm your monopoly, and your love is my property. Our love had me locked up without bail. You committed the crime, and I'm okay with going to jail. And if anything happens, put my love on a scale. I'll pass go with flying colors like those who went to yell. With you, I'm okay with the journey across the board. People may think it's a game, but with you, it's so much more. So the next time I roll a four, be prepared because I have so much in store. When I land on your property, I sometimes have to question my curiosity because late night at your home and apartment has me begging for you to undress in your departments. I'm sorry, I hate wearing garments and love seeing your enlargements. My steady heartbeat will love to know when to call your defeat. I could play this all day long, but remember, no matter what, I'm your monopoly. Thank you, thank you. So this next poem, it goes back to that, the first poem's overall theme of wondering, like, is this the person? Is this the journey you want to go on? Is love meant for me? Do I want to still be single? Do I want to journey this? Is it worth patiently waiting? Waiting in line patiently to be called to catch the next ride. As I watched numerous of people who cut the line, I would always question, why? How are they able to get the fast track and leave me awaiting their ride? It looks like fun, but when will love let me try? Slowly but anxiously moving forward, the sound of the gates heavily opened, allowing those who are ready to face the biggest crime of their life to hop on the ride of euphoria and experience the time of their life. One foot entered as the other one followed, yanking the seats fastened and then closely tied in. As the attendant walked by to securely ask if we were ready, I couldn't answer. The ride began, and the agony of regret instantly appeared. Nothing severe has happened yet, but I know what time will be here. Slowly going up, slowly allowing my heart to flow, slowly opening up, slowly understanding how life goes. A lonesome tear swiveled along my face, caressing my nose because this ride is no longer on a regular pace. I rapidly shook side to side. My heart is falling, and so is my pride. Seeing the fate of the world, glancing at the many homes and people's stare unblurred. As I descended into hell, my worries were long gone. The only thing that crossed my mind was if it was time to use the John. I consciously pleaded to come off, that enough was enough. My feelings were ready to sneer and scoff, yet slightly a crooked smile appeared. Was I part of the norm and could play it off? The ride began to become lethargic. All of those overwhelming feelings were making my mind heartless. Slowly but anxiously finishing its dealings, I was ready to move on and find my next target. Waiting in line patiently to catch the next ride, remembering how the last one made me feel inside. My balance is off, but I know I'll be okay. Was the roller coaster worth it to keep my feelings contained? So this third one is one of my favorites. It talks about love in a manner where it's yummy. So welcome to the yummy land. How can you be so sweet like licorice and tasty like candy baked yams? I could devour you in one bite, but savoring the taste makes the chase more of a game like Candyland. The exploration across your board enlightens my curiosity, giving me a sweet tooth. beckoning for the truth that lies between every color that defines you. My curiosity craves more. What do you have in store? The ongoing mission I set sail, hoping to find you, the candy king, was something I hoped for. You were something my heart needed, something perfect for my self-esteem. With every card drawn, you're pulling me closer to you. It feels as if my feelings were more genuine in the beginning. I was a race chasing a game, but now the bond I have built across your board feels as if you're mine and my love is on the line. Those secretive messages along the way could have been seen as a distraction. However, anything with your name involved leads to every gingerbread man's satisfaction. It was the chemistry involved the moment I touched your board, a fatal attraction. Welcome me in the heart of your Candyland. So I'm gonna take a little break and talk about some of the drawings. Um, when I was doing my last minute edits of the book, um, AK was basically saying like, Syd, there's something missing in this book. And I was like, what could it be? I do want to make this book perfect. Like, what can make it perfect? And he was like, Syd, like you should add drawings. And my deadline was coming. I had to hurry up and send it off to the publishers and printers, and I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I can't hurry up and ask someone to draw these stuff, and I'm gonna come out of pocket so much money to draw for every single poem in the book. So I looked to him. I was like, what? I do want to add drawings. How can I do this? And he was like, Syd, draw. And I looked. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, what do I look like drawing these poems? I'm drawing, yeah. And so I looked at him. I was like, if I draw this, you got to help me. And for 4 days straight, 24 hours, we'll stay up just drawing every single drawing that was in this book. And I'm thankful for you for helping me all those nights, literally all those nights, day and night. Like we were just drawing. So the next poem, I do want to go into Marathon, my first book. Marathon, again, this was a time where, I was trying to use my voice. I didn't know how. And yeah. And so this poem I'm going to read right here, it was about a time where I was fearful. I know we all have a place where we call home. We all go home to this, this place, but there's also a place we call actually home. And my grandparents' house was this home for me. At the time, we had to move back to my grandparents' house, and the neighborhood wasn't the safest, and a robbery did take place. And it seemed as if all of that innocent, all of that perfection I had for my home was taken away, and it left me fearful. I'm not fearful because I'm in God's hands. 11 p.m. and unwanted memories appeared of that absurd night. I'm petrified to leave my mom's side. Oh Lord, don't let me die. I will not be fearful because I'm in the Lord's eyes. 12 a.m. and all I want to do is cry. All of a sudden, a friend called and I don't question why. Oh Lord, will I be all right? I'm fearful. Please, Lord, don't let this be the night. 1 a.m. and my paranoia couldn't be any high. I hear sounds and my friend is on standby. Oh Lord, don't let me be right. I'm not fearful. 2 a.m. and I'm praying nonstop, as if my life was depending on it. This is my life, but I don't want to be dead inside. Oh Lord, here comes the time. Lord, if it is your will, let the kill be an easy spill. 3 a.m. and I'm not okay. Why am I still up? The time is slowly arriving. I don't have the guts to fight them off without any cuts. Oh Lord, let my fear go away. I'm not fearful because I am the Lord's child. 4 a.m. and I'm so sleepy. The time has passed, but things are getting pretty creepy. My friend is asleep, and that's my only dream, is to sleep. When the creep decides to leave, oh Lord, just let me sleep. I'm not fearful because I'm in God's hands. 5 a.m. and daylight is slowly approaching. He could still come. Don't let him play you. Just remember the outcome. Oh Lord, will he not come? I love you, God. 6 a.m., I'm very wary. I want to cry, but then realize this is the devil's sky, repeating the same exact words over and over again, hoping and praying that someone could hear, oh Lord, it's almost over. Now I lay me down to sleep. 7 a.m., the sun has finally arrived, and I know I finally survived. Thank you, Lord, for allowing me to make the night. Oh, Lord, this is me saying goodnight. So at the time, I was 16 years old, and I was very rebellious. I took a month off from social media and wanted to reflect on societal standards, why the government was portraying life in such a manner. So I wrote this poem about 2030. By the year 2030, we all should be dead. And of course, this is a very biased statement. And to those who believe this, beware, the world is ending soon, because no one cares about the world we live in. The planetarium system is failing due to the lack of importance from society. The creatures who breathe this air with us are slowly dying. The water we play in is filled with oil spills that cause my life to become ill. And the air we breathe is polluted, which is slowly killing us. To those who don't believe this, be aware of how the government is hiding this from us. Society is unaware of what's happening, which makes us seem foolish. But aren't we the ones who live on this planet? 9 out of 10, the government already knows when the world's going to end. Just like the movie 2012, the ending was already plotted. They're just waiting for the day where we're all forgotten. By the year 2030, we all should be dead. Probably not physically, nor spiritually, and probably not emotionally, but mentally, socially, and environmentally. The way the world works now is intellectually. But what happens when the schools stop teaching? What happens when sitting at home is a new learning? What happens when knowledge isn't attractive anymore? What happens when the jobs stop wanting? Sooner we realize we aren't needed anymore, the faster we can rebel and fix the future for the better. So this next poem, I was having bad writer's block, and I was questioning, hey, like if the writer's block is this bad, it's been 6 months since I wrote my last piece. Is there a purpose of me continuing to write? But I winded up having a relapse on my imagination. The soothing taste in my inner heart, glistening on my tongue, I need to find a counterpart. This confusing hatred love has me justifying between supplying or crying I might be dying. Down, down, down into the darkness of my imagination, I can't believe how these drugs cost such an allegation. I only wanted a taste of what I was missing, but I found myself loving what I was kissing. All I wanted to do was stay high and just let my imagination fly away. But somehow I turned into a bad guy. The darkened cloud of my misjudgment allied with the drugs and created a restraining moment. I guess they used the words ride or die too loosely, because when they were supposed to be here, they were out here shopping for Gucci. I thought I needed rehab because my imagination was overflowing my sheet tab. I thought 2 months was enough, but look here, I'm having a relapse of my imagination about to get thrown into handcuffs. Every time I try to let you go, I'm pulled back in with your creativity. The feeling I feel when you're gone isn't a mystery. It may be your taste or it might just be your style. In my thoughts and in my mind, I knew it was all worthwhile. I always think about the wings you handed me and that never abandoned me. Never took your sweet essence for granted because of the natural high you took me on. I just never landed. This might all be in my imagination, perhaps, that just made me turn around and have a relapse. So this next poem will forever be one of my favorite poems. At the time, my mentor, Mike Songson, he messaged me and was, told me, there's this opportunity that you can take, and you should do it. And I was looking like, hey, I don't know if I really want to go into this poetry thing. And this is when I was still iffy. The book marathon hasn't came out yet. So he was like, no, just submit it anyways. Let's see what it does. And so I submitted this poem and a few others, but this is the one that they chose to be presented in a museum, the Mocha Museum in downtown LA. They were having a showcase on creatives, and they winded up choosing one of my pieces, and it was called Deja Vu. I'm on a freeway of deja vu, or someone casted a spell and called it voodoo. Everything on replay, and I know it's not right. Headaches and agony, insomnia and affliction, causing my life to become unfree. I wish these memories weren't so painful and hard to witness. At least I had an angel. That day was the beginning of it all, but the end of an era of abuse. It's crazy how life can instantly change and fall and just leave you with a few bruises, a smile bigger than the moon, and a mind filled with confusion. The emptiness and shallowness my heart felt that day was ridiculous. The only question on my mind was, could anyone notice? Could anyone notice the pain I was going through, or the long, teared, awful cries I hid and couldn't undo? This caused me to have a relapse because those old relationships I thought I left in the past got me walking in a bear cage and setting my traps. As I cried in my lonesome soul, thinking about the what ifs and those things I couldn't control, and having wishing that that cliff was close enough so I wouldn't be home. I was praying on my knees, hoping to put my mind at ease, or that God can see. Every day I go to sleep, it's the same thing. I may have not said anything, but in my mind, this deja vu sings. So I'm gonna go back into Scribble. We're gonna go into Affliction. And I'm gonna read on page 130, Beyond Me. I had to look beyond the hurt, the pain, the loss. I had to look beyond the past and realize my future involved a journey as well. I had to look beyond my wants and understand my necessities. I had to simply look beyond me. On the next page, I wrote a poem to one of my family members that I did lose, and just questioning, what if, if life was different, and you know, how I was doing, on Earth. Dear James, every time I assume the darkness you created is over, I'm pulled back in with your family's creativity. The overwhelming emotions I've dealt with has gathered my thoughts in a hole called captivity. A way I wanted to stay, knowing the life you created has caused me such pain. Maybe nothing has changed and everything I write can appear the same. Over and over, my healing pattern begs to be sober. Though now and then a blissful breeze comes and lets me know everything will be okay. Is it you speaking from the heaven gates? The quiet walks with nostalgia sometimes have me questioning whether I was ever sane. Why'd you have to leave so soon and leave me in such a mystery of the pain? Once I began to think of a life with you, nostalgia feels so strange to imagine. Because of the pleated thoughts I create, it causes my mind to become so drained. Could I be privileged to have heard the stories, or should I be envious of those who are in the days of your glory? Wherever you may be and whomever you can see, just know sometimes I despise you for not being alive for me. So I read earlier, Yummy an Affliction. I have a part two to it called Hes Troubled. In the beginning, I had the assumption of the licorice being sweet, since we tasted it one secluded night. Yet the cavities involved now creates a mystery on whether or not continuing would still be a treat. One cavity two, three cavity four, the turns of my missed, and I was next to entering your door. Have I been fooled all along? Was I invited on this journey as a string along? Why have your messages been prolonged? The games you play, did I fall in love gray? Welcome to the land of candy, where a man calls his concubines over and fills their cups with brandy. The illusion he'll leave you wanting you to want him more may seem great till things become uncanny. This next poem is called Tell Her. Poetically defined through her words, convincing people with her smile that everything would be okay, yet hoping for someone to read between the lines, searching for her indirectness, and tell her she'll one day be okay. So this last poem I'll read today, it kind of sums up, my whole journey. It talks about, I've been on this journey for so long, and, I'm kind of done chasing the things I don't belong. Done chasing. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray to my Lord that my soul is kept. And if I die before I wake, I pray to my Lord my soul to take. I prayed to God last night, hoping He would have heard some of my requests, that this new year I'm journeying into will be more impactful than the rest, and that all of the pain I dealt with is not wiped away but contained in a jar called the past, and that I'm not able to stop chasing things that aren't benefiting me in the long run. It seems like life was a chase, and I was either chasing the struggle or constantly running around juggling one's feelings. And I was putting their needs before anything and not truly loving myself. So I guess this is me making a vow to the things I'm done chasing. I'm not done chasing my dreams, so don't get it twisted. But I am done chasing the abuse I didn't sign up for. It was me holding on to friendships and relationships, knowing that they weren't on the other end fighting back for me. And me striving in school with them only to fail me not once, but twice with a 3.7 GPA. And me wanting the family God gave me, yet them constantly proving that blood does not make love and DNA. And me telling people I don't have a father, but begging Him to love me day to day. It's gotten to the point where this misery I'm chasing does not compare to the life I'm gaining. All they did was talk about my reaction, not realizing the trigger they pulled, and I gave no fucks because once it comes to the end, it's just me and Christ to comprehend the life I lived and the choices I made. I'm done chasing a life I no longer live. I'm ripping off a bandage and addressing the wounds with a cleanser called Starting Fresh to give my peace of mind a break to refresh.
Syd Leilani, everybody. Thank you, everyone here, and thank you, YouTube, for that, and thank you, Syd, for that reading. That was fantastic. Great job. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you who watched. Next time, please be here, because in person, as a poet myself, the hearing of the reading of poetry in person is a spiritual experience, and Syd brought all of that spiritual experience. I was blown away, not surprised, blown away by how great that was. And but we thank you on behalf of me and behalf of Jesse, behalf of Latanya and the My Place Cafe event, and the great shout out to Mike Stonskin. I'm sure he'll love it when unless he's hearing it now, then he'll love it afterwards. But everybody, I know you're thinking this because I'm thinking this. How do you get in touch with someone as good as Syd? Well, you can follow her on Instagram at Syd Leilani. I don't have an Instagram, but I might just make one after today. And you can also visit her website at sydleilani.com, not .org. That's something different, but sydleilani.com. Next Friday at 6 p.m. to follow it up, although that's a hard act to follow, we have Mr. Daniel Jose Ruiz. He will be reading his newest novel, The Life of Jan Cierco, here at My Place Cafe. This event will be on our YouTube channel, but no one will be here. But people were here today, thank God. Thank God. We're glad. So please tune in, write your comments, and ask questions. Have a this is Saturday, it says Sunday, but I don't care anymore. Thank you, Syd Leilani, and we thank you so much for tuning in. And can we give it up one more time for our resident poet and all of her wonderful bars. Syd Leilani, everybody. Take care. God bless. Feed your fish. All that good stuff. And if you don't know, now you know. Thank you. That was wonderful.